Hello, this is Hands-on Infrastructure Automation with Ansible. This is Section 7, Building Custom Modules for Tasks. In this section, we'll look at how to structure our Ansible module. We'll look at the data we pass to our module, the module arguments, and the data that it produces, the module results. We'll look at module idempotence, how to build our custom module so that it only runs changes if necessary. We'll look at module check mode, and we'll look at how to build tests for our module, and we'll look at building our module's documentation and metadata. Ansible module structure. In this video, we'll look at how to add a custom module to a role. We will run that custom module, and then we'll talk about how a module file, an implementation, is structured. As we build our .cms functionality using Ansible to automate the installation and configuration, we might want to populate our .cms content management server with content using Ansible. So using Ansible to automate populating that content. Now Ansible doesn't know how to do that out of the box, but we can add that functionality to Ansible using a custom module. .cms has a REST API, an application programming interface that we can use to make web calls in order to provide .cms with the content that we want published. So we can use that to create a custom module that will then allow us to publish content solely using Ansible. Now over the course of this section, we'll look at the details of exactly how that module is implemented. For this video, we're just going to look at how the structure works, where things go, and at a high level, how everything fits together and is built. So let's go over and look at our .cms role. The first thing I want you to notice is that we have a new directory in our .cms role called library, and within that library directory is a .cms_news Python file. Now this Python file implements the logic for our custom module, and because we have that file in the library directory, we can go ahead and use .cms_news as a custom Ansible module from anywhere within this role's tasks. So here you see a tasks file, news.yaml. It includes a task to run .cms news. It includes a number of different parameters. When Ansible comes across this task as it's running, it will call that Python file, it will pass it those parameters, and then it will bring back the results of running that module. So it really is that simple. That's the first thing that we need to notice. It's really just a matter of placing the Python implementation of the role into the library directory, and then we can immediately start using it. Of course, there are the details of how we implement that custom module, but we'll get to those over the course of the next several videos. There are a couple other things in this file to notice. My custom module happens to need the Python requests library in order to do those web requests to .cms, so we install it using pip. And then you'll notice the .cms news task itself has a tag that's called news. That's just going to let us, when we run Ansible Playbook, target exactly this task so that only this task runs. It'll make it work a little faster. Now I've put these tasks into a news.yaml file within the tasks directory, rather than putting them in main.yaml. The only reason I did that is because our main.yaml is getting a little bit long and a little bit complicated. I didn't want to make it longer and more complicated. But what I do instead is I use this import tasks statement from Ansible. I pass it the name of the other tasks file, and that causes Ansible to run those tasks just as if they had been placed right into this main.yaml. So with that out of our way, we're ready to go and take a look at exactly how the custom module runs. So we'll run a standard Ansible Playbook command. Give it our vault password file that we've learned about. We're going to limit it to just run against the .cms group, and we'll use that tags statement that we talked about to focus just on this individual task. And so you'll notice as we run this command, it's going to run pretty fast because it's only going to run that one individual task that has the tag. So we're already finished. If we hop over to our .cms server, we specified the URL that we wanted this particular news item to be published under. And so what we should see is the actual news item that we asked Ansible to publish for us. So just like that, with our custom module, Ansible was able to create this news item, publish it in .cms by making that web call, and we can immediately see it, and it shows up here with the content that we specified. If we go in and we make changes to those parameters, it'll cause our custom module to update the content of this news item, and we'll look at the implementation details of how all of that works over the course of this section. For right now, I wanted to take a minute and talk at a high level of exactly how the module structure works. So we have that file, that .cms_news.py. It has a certain set of capabilities or features or functionality that's in it, and it happens in a certain order that's going to be important that we're going to take a close look at over the course of this section. So here we have our Python file, roles.cms_library.cms_news.py. At the very top of the file, we'll have our metadata, documentation, and examples. Then we import from a particular Ansible Python package, we import the Ansible module object. That's the module that we're going to use in order to do interaction with Ansible, in order to collect our parameters and produce our results. The actual logic of our module is implemented in a Python function called run_module. So what's important to know as we build up our custom module is that we're not going to be in charge of our main method. We're not running this like an external Python script. Ansible is going to run this specific run module function for us. And in general, when we need to pass information back to Ansible, we're not going to print things to the console. We're not going to return things from this function. We're going to call specific methods that Ansible provides using that Ansible module object that we imported. So we take this basic set of functionality. We start out by populating our module arguments. Those come in from our parameters. We test to see if we're in check mode, which means that we just want to check for parameters. We don't want to do anything else. Otherwise, we check to see, do we need to make a change? If we need to make a change, we do the work, whatever that means for our particular custom module. We populate a result dictionary with the data that we want to have go back out again. And then, based on whether our work was successful or not, we either call this exit.json method, passing the result, or we call the fail.json, passing the result. And basically that tells Ansible whether our module was successful or not, so it tells it whether it should continue with other modules, and it tells it whether there was some kind of error. Built into that result is a dictionary item called changed, and that's what tells Ansible whether this module actually made any changes or not. So this is the basic structure of the module. This is what we have in front of us over the course of the next several videos in this section. As we go through the next videos, we'll be focusing on specific pieces of this within the Python file that we've implemented the custom module. And so I wanted to take a minute and show you the overall structure. We'll come back to this over the course of the next few videos, and I'll refer back to this overall structure as we talk about the individual pieces. But this is how it looks as a whole. We run this Python file. It has this run module function in it, and that run module function is the thing that does the work to implement our custom Ansible functionality. That covers our look at Ansible module structure.